Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to the Glassman's world. I'm just getting started. It's really early in the morning here. It's I think about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30 now. Trying to be quiet. So I got the microphone right to my face, so this should work. You should be able to hear me, and I'm basically just whispering right here to you guys. So let me get the video up on Can You Believe I Hand Make These for Only $5? Let me get the mute on here too. Sorry about that. There's the mute. Let's make sure that this is all 100%. So today I'm going to work on some of my spinning tops mostly. And that are these here, which look like these really cool sari pieces. It's basically like a sari piece, right? I don't know if you played that game, Sari. But it's basically like a sari piece, but then it's got a round dot on the bottom. And this dot allows it to spin. People have asked me, why don't you just put a point on it? And the points don't spin as well as a big round dot. There's something about the weight. The weight of the dot helps it to get distributed, and it helps it to spin. So I've tried to make the Inception top. Everyone asked me about the Inception top, and oh, you guys can't even see the table there. Maybe I can tilt this down a little bit for you. Yeah, not good enough. Alright, we're going to be more focused on the work today anyways. So that way you guys can get a real good shot of everything here. So good morning. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dan the Glass Man. This is the Glass Man's world. And I'm a glass artist of 30 years now here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Been blowing glass right out of high school since 1995. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no direction in life. I just knew I was an artist. I've always been an artist my entire life. For as long as I can remember, I've been creating things, making things, drawing things. And yeah, I've been an artist, and I've been a jeweler for quite some time as well. I remember when I was a child, I used to make those friendship bracelets. Alright, well, let's get our glasses on here and make sure we always wear our safety glasses here, the didymiums. Let's put these on. That way we can, when I'm wearing the didymiums, it helps me to see through the flame. You guys might not be able to see through the flame whenever I get the glass going. It gets like a really, you see the sodium flare, it gets like a really orange glow to it. And so, yeah, it burns bright, and you can't see what's going on. That's why we wear the shades. It takes out all the sodium flare. So it's about 6:30 right now. I'm getting ready for an event today. We decided we're going to do a trunk or treat pop-up event. Our Sunday market is officially done. I was hit up by a local news reporter who saw my post on the whole story. They posted up a story about the pharmacy restaurant shutting down abruptly, and how the employees didn't get paid, and now they're waiting through the bankruptcy litigation and everything. So when they shut down, the host of our market, the Sunday Nob Hill East Market, they decided to just shut it down on all us vendors without talking to us, without asking for our opinion on do you guys want to keep it going. And and then I got hit up with the news reporter, and I'm like, well, if we run a story and we say that we're hurting now, that pharmacy was really helping us to drive in sales, to bring patrons in. We don't really have too much of a walking traffic in Nob Hill. Like, not only would it help the market, but it could help generate business in the Nob Hill area and revamp the whole Nob Hill East area. There are businesses there, and people don't come and walk through. Like I was saying yesterday, people really only go through the central part of Nob Hill, like where La Montanita Co-op is, and then there's a whole bunch of like restaurants and diners and gaming places, and New Mexico United has their headquarters there, the soccer team, and like there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like, people are just walking around left and right there, and that's literally 2 blocks away from where our market is. So we don't get people coming past Carlisle. Everyone stays to the west of Carlisle, and no one goes east of Carlisle. So, me, I'm thinking about community. I'm thinking not just for myself. Like I said, it's not like the market was making me all kinds of money, right? The market was barely making me anything. I was going to the market because I promised to be there every Sunday in order to help with growing the market and building the market. I gave my promise. I put my word on the line that I would be there and that I would start doing live glass blowing demos. And I only had the opportunity to do 2 of them, and then they shut it down on me and on the rest of the vendors. So I'm thinking that this news story could actually generate an interest in the Nob Hill East shopping district. Not just for our business, not just for our market, but for everyone there. Tinta Cantina, for Thai Vegan Heritage, for the yoga studio that opened up at the spot that we used to own, the Neon Glass, which, like I was saying, he doesn't need any walk-in people, but it would be good to highlight that he's been there for 20 to 40 years or however long he's been there. We could talk about the new shop that opened up just right there by Tinta Cantina, where they do gaming by the hour, and you can go in and you can play video games, you can rent their gaming systems and things like that. And I'm sure they probably host competitions and things. There's the Stone Mountain Bead Gallery and all the other shops over there. The what is it called? 2-cycle or 2-drive or 2-wheel. It's a bicycle shop there. There's some other shops just right up the street there. There's the Purple Magazine headquarters, and then there's a couple of dispensaries there. And then there's that place called Cowboys and Indians right on Morningside. And then also there's the El Valle event center there that hosts different events, and they're going to have a trunk or treat coming up, I think today, maybe that's today, this Saturday. I'm not sure. Maybe it's on Halloween, actually. We should be doing a trunk or treat on tomorrow. We should be hosting a trunk or treat right there at Solano and Central. But instead, people want to just up and leave, up and quit. And I get it. They've put in the time. It's been a year and a half. And I think, what it was is they were already done doing the markets. They realized that it wasn't really helping to pay rent, which I was trying to figure out, like, how are about a dozen vendors, like, we might get, like, I'll count them. There's at least the owner there normally has 2 booths set up because there's 2 owners, right? So you got two booths. There's always our friend Kathy there, and usually someone else. So there's 2, 3, 4 booths. And we had another guy there on the side, so that's 5. Then there's me, 6. Our friends from Santo Domingo, 7. The bread lady, 8. And then maybe like 1 or 2 others on the side, so 9, 10. So we would usually have about 10 vendors out every Sunday, right? From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 10 vendors at $20, and which I was saying was pretty steep for what was being offered, you know. There was no live music. There was no entertainment. I mean, we had music playing off of a speaker, and then it would be the same playlist every week over and over again. They wouldn't change it up. You know, I would suggest, like, hey, let's play some local music. Maybe that'll draw in people like, oh, hey, this is my favorite local band, and they come in, you know. But because the host didn't like every local band or whatever, they would change it back to the playlist. And I'm like, well, we need to change it up. Like, we're just listening to the same songs every Sunday. Like, us vendors, you know, we start to recognize the playlist. You're like, oh, this song will be next. So 10 vendors every Sunday, $20 a pop, which I said was pretty steep. We're doing an event today. It's only $5. $5 trunk or treat pop-up. Because it's probably going to be small. And they're probably not going to be expecting too much of a crowd, which is what our market has always been. You know, we've always expected a small crowd and maybe a little bit of a trickle coming off of the pharmacy. But we still had our own traffic. We still had our own visitors coming. It wasn't like 100% of our patrons came from the pharmacy restaurant, you know. While they're waiting to be seated, you know, 100% of them did not come over from there. You know, we definitely had other people who were just passing through, walking by, you know, just on their stroll for the day in Nob Hill. So, I don't know. I think doing a news story could actually help to revamp all of Nob Hill East. But it's too bad that the owners are not willing. They're like, no, we're going to just stick with our original decision. I'm like, really? Like, if we had a news story, like they said, they're going to stick with their original decision because they're tired of not being able to guarantee that a crowd will come for the vendors. Yet us vendors are willing to be out there whether or not they're generating a crowd for us. If we stay out there and we keep our consistency, we will generate our own crowd. And I think we have. I do believe we had some of the people from the pharmacy come over, but it wasn't 100% of them. That's the thing. And to not even give it a try and to not utilize the news reporter and to try to run a story that would then generate traffic to our market and let them know, hey, we'll be out there for the Twinkle Light Parade. We'll be out there for Black Friday. We'll be out there every Sunday. There's live glass blowing demos. Come and check it out, guys. Maybe we'll do some live music coming up soon, you know? We always talked about that. But then I was the only one who ever brought a guitar out, and I would play from time to time, and it was nice. But I didn't bring out my amp to plug in because my guitar isn't set up for that. I gotta fix the pickup in my guitar so it can be plugged in once again. But I shouldn't be the only musician to be called upon. And then also I'm performing for free, you know, when usually I would get paid at least $50 to $150 as a solo musician to come out and perform for an hour to 3, you know? Doing live demonstrations, I would get paid $50 to $200 to go out to a business so it would help generate a crowd. But, you know, I was offering to do these things for free to help build the Nob Hill East Market. So that market's done. And I don't know how they were planning to have us pay the rent there, because at 10 vendors per week at $20, that's only $200 for 4 weeks. That's only $800. That's barely any portion of the rent. Like, I think that's a fourth? A sixth of it? I don't know. Rent there in Nob Hill is like probably about $2,000 to $4,000, depending on your location. We used to rent a spot there. It was only $1,100 for a while. I'm sure that place went up now. And then we had another spot that was $2,200, which was a block away. And I believe it was bigger. I believe our spot was actually bigger than the spot they have now. But yeah, I mean, if rent's still about that much, like $2,000 to $3,000, it's still doable. You just got to have the right business plan. You got to have the right things to offer, and you got to be inviting if you want people to come in. You know, like hosting a weekly market. You know, that's inviting. That brings people in. It generates an interest on, hey, what's going on there? What's happening there on that corner? I might not have time to stop today, but maybe I'll be able to stop there in a week or 2. Oh, no, can't do it now because the market's gone. But that's all right, guys. We got another market today. Like I said, it's only $5 to set up. It's probably going to be a small market. I don't know how many people are going to be there, so I'm going to do my best to just promote it on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter here as soon as I'm done making some glass. I only have a little bit of time. I got to make some spinning tops. I'm completely sold out. So if I can make, I don't know how many of these, I don't know how much time I got. It's almost 7 o'clock now. I think by 8 o'clock, I think I have about an hour or so. Hey, what's up, Pro Cannabis? How you doing today? I knew someone was there lurking. Someone was lurking while I was working. So good morning, greetings. Sorry I'm still on my soapbox about the whole market, but you know, that threw some salt at me. Like, that was like, dang. After all that I've been doing to help promote it and do all these things, and then you just cancel, when I personally am willing to I'll go out there by myself and vend if no one wants to be out there with me. The business owners don't have to open their doors. They don't have to run their electricity so I can use their restrooms. I can figure that out. I'm a big boy. It's not like we're going to have a whole bunch of people there that they need the toilet. But people expect me to be there, you know, and all that promotion for a year and a half now. People think that I'm going to be there. They're not going to see my post that we've canceled. There's people who just have stopped by. They're not on Facebook. They're not on any social media platform. They just know we're out there every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they're going to stop by one of these Sundays and be like, wait, what happened? So, but we're going to do another market today. Bam! I love it when those things just spin like that. Let me see if I can get it in the camera view for you. Alright, so let's make more. There's 2. So these are normally $5 each. I try to make them quick enough to where I can keep them at a good price. But other than the whole market stuff, I'm doing good. I mean, life is life, right? Life is like the ocean. You know, sometimes you get hit with the big waves and sometimes you get hit with the calm waves, but there's always waves. So you just got to learn to ride the ebb and flow of the ocean. Become like water, right? Isn't that what Bruce Lee said? Become like water. I love water. I'm an Aquarian. Water is life. Water is my life. I am water. We are all 90% water on the cellular level. Our cells are 90% water, 10% matter. And then our bodies, you know, depending on how much water you drink, we're about 60 to 80% water. Water weight by volume. So, if you can stay in the flow like water, life becomes so much better. And then when you get hit with whatever, you're just like, well, it is as it is, you know. C'est la vie, so let it be. And, you know, let the good times roll. But yeah, life is life. We got the ups and downs. You know, everyone seems to be struggling these days with bills and trying to make ends meet. I'm doing the best I can with keeping our family afloat. We're going to do this market here. It's a Saturday. I try to keep my Saturdays open so I can do things like this and that. And so that works out really nicely. My wife wants to go. I want to take our son to go because it's a trunk or treat event. But then he'll be stuck there for 4 hours when, you know, the trunk or treat, you really just need to get in and get out and then go to another trunk or treat somewhere else. But my wife doesn't drive. I actually don't know if she knows how to drive. I think she learned how to drive, but she just doesn't drive. I don't know if that's because of her disability or maybe her anxiety. It's probably her anxiety. She's like, no, I don't like to drive. There's some people who don't like to drive on the freeway. They have anxiety about it. But some people just don't like to drive at all. So I'm working on these spinning tops. Can you believe that I make these for only $5? These spinning tops are awesome. But one thing, pro cannabis. Do you do dabs? Are you into the concentrates, the oils, things like that? The trick is to get that dot perfectly centered. That's the hardest thing. And sometimes, like, I'll see that it's leaning over a little bit to one side more than the other. So I'll use my paddle and I'll try to, like, just, you know, just help it over a little bit. Give it a little bit of a nudge. Get it more in line, more centralized in there. But yeah, here, let me see if I can spin that for you. And then you can see how centered that is. That's spinning. I'm spinning it. You can see how perfectly centered that is. And then when I put the punty or the pontil or the scrap piece of glass, when I connect this to the little color dot here, I got to make sure that I line this up perfectly straight on axis with the rod here. So I got to make sure I get this nice and rounded, try to get just that tip, and make sure that then I move it over however which way I move the punchy over, shove it over left or right, get it nice and straight, pull it taut like a rope, and then, but not too hard because I can pull it off. You know, got to remember the punchy is barely holding on. And then we'll just go in there with a nice little gentle flame. I'm going to bring the oxygen up a little bit. And I did both. I brought the oxygen up, but then I brought the propane down to adjust the oxygen ratio. Oh my gosh, dabs don't exist there. Wow. But you would very much like to. I would very much like to show you. YouTube gets me in trouble, or I get in trouble when I do those things on camera. I used to be one of those guys that's like, I don't give an F about whatever's, I'll do whatever's, you know. And then, I mean, not do whatever's, but like on camera, I would just smoke, you know. It's just me personally. I've always wanted to normalize it. You know, like right now we've recreationalized it, right? We've legalized it here. So in our state of New Mexico, not every state in the United States is legal, but in our state here in New Mexico, it's not only legal for medical use, but it's recreational, which means if you're an adult, 21 and over, you're legally able to consume. You can carry up to 2 ounces. You can possess up to 2 ounces on you. You can walk around in the streets with 2 ounces on you just traveling. Now, I do believe, I see, the thing is, it's so vague. I don't think that they created the laws. Like, you know, if it's not on the books, if it's not specifically written, then the law is like vague. It's up for interpretation at that point, right? So there's no real, like, nothing written on, like, you can't do this or you can't do that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty much like it's open to interpretation. So you might get in trouble still, you might not. There are federal cops though. So if you get busted by the feds, it still is a federal offense. So by state, so if you get busted by a state trooper, you'll be okay. But if you get busted by the feds, then you're in trouble. So it's weird. It's so like, what? Like, I don't know. So, you know, you just want to still drive safe, ride safe, all that. You can get it in Amsterdam, €80. I don't know how much that is. What is 80 euros compared to like a US dollar? I have no clue. I know I can put it up in my phone, or, well, I can't do it in my phone because I'm using my phone right now for this live stream. But I wonder how much that relates to. We get $15 US dollar grams on Wax Wednesdays, and that's really good quality from Albuquerque. This is one of my favorite spots. This is the spot that bought all of All of my glass balloons. Albuquerque Craft Cannabis. They're always hidden in the background there. little advertisement for them. They don't even know it. I don't even tell them that I do that. But yeah, they got cool products. They got these lids. This is nothing. It's just a lid. But as you can see, they got the New Mexico Zia. I don't know if you'll be able to see that because of the shadowing. But it's got the New Mexico Zia and you can't really see it because of the shadow that I get. Oh, whatever. They got the New Mexico Zia, which was misappropriated and stolen from the Zia Pueblo. The Zia, the natives here, that's their like sacred symbol, sun symbol, and represents so many other things, the sacred four. And the state of New Mexico, they stole it and they utilized it as their flag. So now there's individuals like myself who have it tattooed on them. I have a Zia. You can't even see it. I'll show you one day. That's $95? What? Hey, what's up? Not so fast. How you doing? Good morning, good morning. Joni. So do we know each other in person, Joni? Because I do believe I know a Joni, but I'm not sure if you are the same Joni. But good morning, and thanks for tuning in. I'm making some really cool, fun spinning tops here. As you can see. We got those cool balloons here in the background also. Except this one here, I don't know what I did, but I somehow picked up the wrong color. And half of it is blue and the other half is not blue. And you might not be able to see with the lighting. I don't know if I can get better lighting. I don't know if that helps. Oh no, you found me from a vid on the Gateway. Oh, what's up, Joni? The Gateway. Shh. Don't talk about that. Just kidding. Nah, I shared my gate story. Gate is an interesting topic. I can't wait to see Stranger Things again. That should be coming out here real soon. Yeah, but I actually found the location of the school that they shipped us to. And when I say us, I'm thinking there was like only 2 or 3 of us from my school that would go to this other school. I don't know if we like picked up other kids on the way. I don't remember. It was so weird. It's like all those years are so like just vague and like a dream, and like the memories, I could barely recall things. That damn pink drink they gave us, those fuckers, motherfuckers. I remember they'd give us that pink drink. They'd always have a tray right there next to the little sink. We had a sink in the portables. And then they would have us lay down. And then I think we would do like these out-of-body experiences or something weird. It would be nap time for us. Nap time. They would just drug us and put us out. So weird that they were able to come into the public schools and do that and get that funding, right? It's kind of like right now in New Mexico, they're talking about, oh, we got universal child care. Hooray, universal child care. It's like, do you even know where that funding comes from? Do you realize that all that money comes from the big oil companies, and that they are giving this money or paying for it because they are allowed to come in and frack? They're going to frack it up. Frack it up, frack it in. So they're going to frack all of New Mexico. And then we're going to have some major sinkholes here. It's going to be fun. I think they already had one. I forget where. I don't know if it was like by White Sands or somewhere around there. But they had this big old giant sinkhole. And it's full of like brackish water. And I think what they use it for is they're putting the brackish water into it now. Into this major sinkhole. They don't know where it goes. They're just putting the brackish water in it now. From all of the fracking, all the fracking water. But everyone's happy that we now have universal child care. Except my wife was explaining to me that the child care workers are wondering, how do they offer free child care if they're not getting any funding yet? So the state's like, yeah, there's free child care. Go get it. And the people are like, but how? How do you apply for free child care? How do the child care workers get the funding so they can, like, it's so crazy. Crazy Albuquerque. Except that's crazy New Mexico. That's not even Albuquerque for you. So if you're a fan of me here, I don't know if you're aware, but I got like a dozen, dozens, like a dozen. What do you call a dozen? There's got to be a name for a dozen dozens, right? But I got dozens and dozens and dozens of playlists on the Glassman's World. Go check them out sometime. There's so many of them, and they all have their own little topics. So then you can check out the different things that are part of the Glassman's World. All these videos I pretty much have watched. So you'll be able to see all my life, what I've wasted my life on YouTube videos. So it's all in these playlists. Thousands and thousands of hours. But one of them is called Crazy Albuquerque. And it's got just videos on just crazy things happening here. A lot of crime, a lot of just crazy stuff. Things that are just like, what is up with Albuquerque, man? Crazy Albuquerque here. Like yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw the video of that big old truck. I was like, you think this truck is too big? I really wish I would have filmed him backing that truck in. That was the most comedic. I was just like watching it there. My son's in the back seat, and he's just like on the I don't know, what do you call it, the iPad or whatever. And he's just watching some videos. So I'm like waiting for my wife to come out from Walgreens, and I see this guy pull in with this big old dually semi truck, pickup truck. It's like a F-1650. I'm like, what? A F-1650? I think I read that right. I've heard of an F-150, an F-250, an F-350. I don't think I've ever heard of an F-450, an F-550, an F-650. But this was an F-1650. It's like this thing. He walked up to it, and the door handle was up to his head. The hood, like if you need a ladder to look underneath the hood of his truck, I was like, what? This is nuts. Ridiculous. Why does anyone need a truck this big? Is he like hauling cattle? What's he pulling? That'd be funny if he didn't even have a tow hitch on the back. The mud flaps, they were like bigger than my bed. It was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous truck. Like, oh my God, this guy, he's not compensating for anything. And what I found interesting is like they had 2 cabs, right? It was the extended cab, four door semi pickup truck. I don't know what you call that. That thing was huge. It was an F-150, so that's a Ford, right? I think it was a Ford. Super Duty. Yeah, it was a Super Duty. I don't even know if it was a heavy duty. I think it was just a Super Duty. Definitely not a Super Sport. Unless you're doing mud pulling, then that's the sport. All right, so we got 4 of these. I don't know if I should make... How many am I getting done here? Got 40 minutes in. It's taking about 10 minutes each. Why are they taking me 10 minutes? They should be taking me 5 minutes. Because I'm talking to you guys. Because you guys are distracting me. Just kidding. We spin every single one to make sure that they work. You gotta always test them out. Alright, this might be the last one I can make on this rod. The rod's like that short. So my hand gets really close to the flame at this point. Hello, greetings. Got a nap to open our third eye. Oh yeah, I was talking about the pink drink. Oh yeah, it's so sick that they're perforating the land, right? Oh, I make aliens. I love aliens. Do I have my aliens around still? I make these really cool aliens. I used to have one behind me, a little alien ship. If you go to facebook.com/the UFO pipe, look up the UFO pipe, and you'll see my cool alien ships. They're these round, flattened discs. They're hollow tubing spaceships with little alien drivers on top. I put little green alien heads in there with 2 big old eyes inside of kind of like a marble, and then melted it on top. Yes, these are rad and not raid. Did you ever watch that movie Rad? From Canada? From Canada, eh? I call it Canada because they're Canadians, not Canadians. Canadians from Canada. That one's almost not flat the way I want it. So I'm going to heat it up on the side a little bit. I'm going to try to flatten it out just a little bit better. I felt like it had a little bit of a slight tip to it. Okay, we'll just do 5. And then I'll do like 5 more, and then I might have to call it because it's already 7. It's going to be 8 o'clock soon, like 7:15, 7:20. And then I got to get ready to go. I don't know if my wife is going to try to go. She says she wanted to go, but she's been hurting a lot lately. You know, she used to be on disability, and then they took it away from her. Those bastards. You bastard. And so yeah, life is grand. But she's been hurting a lot lately, and it's, you know, that's not fun for her. And we also have an event this evening. Our son's got his own little Halloween carnival. So they're going to have to get ready. It's going to take them a while to get ready. I plan to leave here about 8:30 or 9, which is in an hour or so. So I don't know if they're going to come with, or maybe try to meet up with me later by Uber. Like I said, my wife doesn't drive, which I don't know if she actually knows how, or if she just doesn't because of anxiety. You know, some people prefer to be chauffeured, and they don't like to deal with traffic and worrying about what's going on. It's like too much to like pay attention to your surroundings, to operate the vehicle with your foot on the pedal. It's like, you know, trying to play a drum or something to some people, you know. Some people can't walk and chew gum at the same time, while others can juggle and play hacky sack and, you know, do all these other things all at the same time. Everyone's different. But yeah, maybe one day I can teach her how to drive if she doesn't know how. That would be interesting. It's like teaching a teenager all over again. You know, I actually never got to teach my oldest child how to drive. I mean, kinda. I did, at one time, I did, I guess. I did put my child behind the wheel at like 9 years old. Somewhere around there, 7, 8, 9. And actually had my child drive down the road just in case, because you never know what happens if your child is with you and something happens to you, and God forbid you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. You don't want your child to just be stuck there. You want your child to be able to know how to put that vehicle into gear and to get to the nearest location that they can. Find the lights and drive towards them, right? So at one time I did teach my child how to physically drive down a vacant road, some road that wasn't being used out in the middle of nowhere. But, you know, that was way young. And then later on in life, my child ended up taking off, and around like 16, 17, and my child wasn't driving at that point yet. Didn't really want to, I guess. But then took off and went to go live with the grandparents, and then decided to cut me out, and then decided to cut the rest of the family out. I thought it was something personal between my child and I, and then I was like, oh no, now my child's cutting everyone out. Like, okay, now it's just something that my child is going through. That poor soul. I don't know what happened, but when you got to cut out all your family for whatever, like for your own personal this or that, I don't know what it. Well, I know what it is. running away from your past, to try to hide from what you once were, to try to become something else. My child became transgender, so, and I accept my child. It does not matter what my child is, you know. To me, everyone is an eternal spirit soul. So it doesn't matter where you come from, your race or whatever. If you have a good soul, I'll connect with you. That's about it. And then some people, you know, you got to connect with them in this realm for business, right? You got to have these connections in life, and you got to create these connections, because sometimes one door will close and then another one will open. Certain opportunities will lead to other opportunities. And so sometimes maybe a person isn't a friend, but more of like a stepping stone, or like a way to another path, right? To the next step in your life. But if you got a good soul, then heck yeah, I'll fuck with you. There's another one down. All right, now we can move on to another color. We got blue. Let's do red. Is always good. We'll go with the dark cobalt or dark garnet here. All right, darn it. There's the garnet. All right, let me read some comments here. What's the costume your son picked this year? Okay, so my son wants to be a pumpkin, right? Which means we would have to like figure out how to make some kind of a contraption thing like that for him, like a balloon. Turn him into an orange balloon instead. We're like, sorry kid, you're now a hot air balloon. We could turn him into the jack-o'-lantern hot air balloon. No, but he wants to be a pumpkin. But first, he said he wanted to be a skeleton, right? And I found the most awesome skeleton costume for him. And it's got a mask. And he doesn't have to wear the mask. But it's got this, like, it's a cloth mask you put over your entire face. And then you can, like, see through it, like a mesh mask. And it fits perfectly over whoever wears it. And then it, like, fits to your face. So it looks really cool. The whole thing. And it comes with a hood. So if he doesn't want to wear the mask, I get that. But he can wear the whole skeleton costume. And then, you know, being that we always hold on to things, you know, the Halloween costumes, all the Christmas decorations, the old Christmas wrapping paper, and, you know, so we've got a ton of other costumes that may still fit him. I got a ton of adult costumes. I got a chicken costume. I got a unicorn costume. I got a Batman costume. We always got scary costumes like zombie mask and some other. So I can always wear some crazy mask, right? I don't know what I'm going to dress up as today. We're supposed to be doing a trunk or treat event. All right, let's see how many of these red ones I can make here by 8 o'clock. You got about 25 or 35 minutes, maybe. I don't know if that clock is right, actually. So once again, we're going to be setting up at a trunk or treat at a place called Mr. C's Teas, which I don't really know where this place is, except I'm thinking that it may be connected with a place called Bessie's that we've vended at before. So we'll see. We'll see if it's the same deal or not. It could be. I'm not sure. But it's only $5 to set up to vend. I don't know if it's going to be worth it or not. It would be cool if I could actually bring out my torch and blow glass. I just thought about that right now. I don't know if I want to do that. And I got to tear down things, break things down. I would have to have started that about an hour ago. I'll just bring out my screen, and then I'll show my live glass blowing demos on screen and let them know that there will be live demonstrations on YouTube all the time. You know, to come here. It sucks I can't promote it. I'm going to be doing live glass blowing demos every first Sunday of the month at the Nob Hill East Market. I just got a second torch too to do that. And now it's done. How sad. You're only 50. But a lot of us knew how to drive long before we had licenses. Right? I'm also only almost 50. Coming up here in February, I'll be 50. I'll be catching up to you. And then I'll be passing you. Just kidding. That's funny. A race to get older. No, I'm not trying to get old. I'm trying to stay as youthful as possible and as childlike as possible. Still like to be playful. Although I know that I'm getting old because I'm not as playful as I once was. I know that. And I can't run and kick and jump like I used to. But I can still kick and punch and jump. I'm 50. Your Wii is going as a werewolf. Oh, I have a werewolf costume as well. I could be. Cool. Werewolf, that's a good one. I'm going to go as a gate kid. I'm just going to carry a gate with me. And I'll wear a key around my neck, so I'll be a latchkey gate kid. How about that? I'll be the latchkey gate kid from the 80s. I'll make sure I'll wear one of those mesh baseball caps. You know, those ones that's got like the white foam front with the red on the back. The kind that Starman wore. If you're 50, then you remember Starman. So these things are barely cooled down enough for me to touch them when I'm testing them out like that. They're just barely cooled down enough. Every time I make one is cooled down and ready to go. You still with us, Pro Cannabis? Is there anyone else here? Yeah, our weed changes her mind a few times. We have to wait to make and buy. Yeah, right? And give them a cutoff day. Like, that's it. You're going to be this. Like, but no, I wanted to be the other thing. Like, sorry, kid. You're going as a werewolf. Yeah. No, and the thing is I'm all about Halloween. I used to actually have several costumes every year because there were several different events. I used to love to dress up as different ideas. And for some reason, you know, I grew up in the 80s with all of those classic horror movies, you know, like, of course, you got the Freddy Krueger, you've got the Michael Myers, and of course, everyone loves Jason Voorhees, right? They all love the hockey mask, right? And for some reason, I've always been Jason. I've always wore the hockey mask. But one year, I decided that I was going to be the original Jason Voorhees. Do you remember the original Jason Voorhees and what he wore before he acquired the hockey mask? In Friday the 13th, the first one, Friday the 13th. There's no part one, it's just Friday the 13th, right? In that one, he was never even the one going around taking people out. Do you remember who it was? Who was the psychopath that was going around taking out? The latchkey gate kid, you love that? Yeah. What's the kid's name from Stranger Things? The curly hair kid. Is that Will? Is that his name? I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, I'll dress up like him. Except he wasn't a gate kid. He just had that 80s look. Got that perfect hat and everything. I don't know what I'm gonna be. That's funny though. A latchkey gate kid. Where did I come up with this crap? One of these days, I'm gonna make it to the Zoom meetings that we have with all the other Gators. Are we called Gators? Not like Florida Gators, but like a gator, not gator, a gator. One who gates. Or the Gateway Kids. Welcome to Gateway. A whole new experience. We are the first altered realities. We are the first AI children of the 70s and the 80s. They pushed us into the future and gave us all kinds of crazy things to go on. It's been a fun life though, huh? I've enjoyed my ride. It's been fun. Why you gate kids always talking about aliens? Did you see one too when you were younger? I know I did. Is that one a little crooked? That one's a little crooked. All right, we got a couple more of these to make here. I love when artists create live. What a way to inspire young minds, even adults. You never know what your art can do in a domino effect, right? That's the one thing. And that's the other thing, too, that I have to remember is that there's going to be kids watching this, so I got to always try to, like, censor myself and stuff. But, like I said, I make all these playlists. So I'm also planning on doing a series of videos specifically for children, for kids, and for teachers to show them in classrooms, specifically for teaching and classroom settings. I've had a lot of teachers, when I'm at the markets and vending, approach me and like, hey, we'd love to show your videos in class. Are they kid friendly? You know, it's like, well, not all the time. Sometimes I'm talking about dabs. Sometimes I'm talking about cannabis legalization. Sometimes I'm talking about the jab injuries. Sometimes I'm talking about the World Economic Forum and depopulation agendas. I don't know. Maybe our kids need to know about all of it. I think so. But that's just me. I think we should always live in the truth and always tell our children the truth on what's going on. So then life doesn't catch them by surprise later on. And they're like, wait a minute, what sinister stuff is going on here that we didn't know about? What 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 is this gateway program here now you're telling me? They still got it going on in schools. What's crazy is that all of that had a lot to do with like mind control and mind alteration and stuff. Mind modification, thought modification and processing and things. Altering of dreams and thoughts. Extracting dreams and thoughts. You know, they used us to learn how to extract dreams and thoughts. And now they're doing that on a mass scale. Somehow they figured out how to put all these 5G towers everywhere. And they're data mining. They're collecting data. They're collecting information. And they're able to implant thoughts and dreams now too. And they've created the Mandela effect in such a cool way to where things that you knew were one way somehow change and alter in your reality. Not within the digital realm online, but I'm talking, I own a Monopoly game from the 1950s where the Monopoly man had the monocle and now he doesn't. Maybe he still does, but I just don't see it. You know, like they say, like, if you have an old phone, one of those old, like, I don't know what it was, an old Motorola or something, that you can actually see the original compared to the Mandela effect or something weird like that. I'm like, what? I don't know if that's true though. I don't know if these screens are our eyes are, I don't know. It's weird. I enjoy getting old. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment, right? Waiting for this time to be here. Some people are waiting for the future to happen for them instead of making it happen right now. I love living in the future. I love having this telepathic gift, being able to foresee things and to know, just to know like what's going to happen soon enough. And having that gut instinct, that gut feeling, and just then you can just like be on top of things. You can really pay attention to what's going on. You can really discern things on what they're telling you in the news and the mainstream media and all that. It's really cool. But then it creates a lot of worry at times too. You got to step away. All right, thank you. I appreciate you. And yeah, I may be out of here soon. I'm thinking another 20 minutes on making these. These are coming out a little quicker. We might be able to get to like a different color. But I'm completely sold out on my tops. 3 weeks ago, I was completely sold out on my spirals. 4 weeks ago, I was completely sold out on my my mushrooms, what happened was is someone came and basically were like, well, how much are these? These are $5? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, how much for all? I'm like, for all of them? Oh, well, here, let me just give you a deal and give you the wholesale price and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Or thank you, sir. And yeah, they took all, they took all my jewelry. I was like, whoa. And then even my glass balloons. There was one day where my friend, he was like, well, I need 3 of them for my girl here because she's going to ship them to so-and-so. And I need a few myself. And I was like, all right, well, I'll hook your girl up here. It's a good deal. And then he's like looking at how many I have left, and he starts counting them. He's like, well, how much for all of these? I'm like, really? You're going to clear me out of my glass balloons on the Balloon Fiesta field when I'm walking around? Like, all right, here, let's just get rid of them. I'm done selling glass balloons. And then he ended up selling them that night, made his money back, and he got more. I'm like, okay. I have to make more though, sir. But I made more for him by the next day. That's the cool thing of being an artist, is that you don't have to wait for someone else to be the artist, you know? He's like, yeah, I'll take the rest of these right here, and I'll take some more tomorrow. I'm like, okay, well, I got to get on the torch and make some then. And bam. That's how you do it. I do a lot of wholesaling. That's the one thing that I've always done. I've always been a wholesaler. Ever since I began, right away I got into finding clients that had shops, a lot of business owners that would then purchase from me. And I learned my bottom line and what I wanted to make per hour at the lowest minimum, which for me, for a while was $20 an hour. Now I think I'm making about $30 an hour minimum whenever I get on the torch. So we've been on here for 72 minutes. So it's a little bit more than 12 minutes, minus that one, minus this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these times $5 is $30 an hour. And that's, the thing is, I probably should be making more. I'm talking too much. So when I talk, it kind of slows me down for some reason. I don't just get focused in and start making and cranking these out. I probably should be making these one every 5 minutes, and I probably should have had at least a dozen of these made by now. But it's all good. It is what it is. And like I said, I'm making at least $30 an hour, right? But that's, it's good to know your bottom line and what the least amount you want to make as an artist. So if I wholesale these, I don't make too much money, Then I would only get probably like $3 each on them. Maybe 2 for $5. You gotta always keep this nice and straight. Every time I pull that, I'm really doing my best to make sure that is all nice and straight. Pull it tight like a rope. And trying to get this perfectly centered by hand These all will have some sort of a wobble or something to them. It's very rare that I can actually get them to be 100% perfect to where when you spin them, it looks like they're just standing still. Most of the time when you spin them, they got a slight wobble and you can tell that they're spinning. But every once in a while, I'll make some and it looks like, wait, is that one just standing up, standing still? It doesn't even look like it's moving at all. It won't have any movement, any wobble at all. This one I think is going to have a little bit of a wobble here. Sometimes they come out a little wobbly, but it might still spin perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but it'll still spin well. So can you believe I only make these for $5? They probably should be $7 or $10, but they're spinning tops and they're toys. You know, I can't really ask much more for these, although yes, I can, because they're hand blown, they're glass, they're one of a kind, they're unique. And I've been a glass artist for 30 years. Oh, did you see that? That one didn't spin at all. This one is a hot one. I got to get that one back on the table. This one, that one had an issue. If you spin it really hard, it goes on its side. So this one is not such a good spinner. It spins. If you spin it slow, it spins, but it's not the greatest of spinners. I'll keep it in the pile and when we spin it live, people will know. All right, that one's probably too short. Are all these too short? We're gonna need another glass rod here. All right, let's cut this real quick. Oh, I just heard a door open, so I don't know who woke up. I don't know if that's my son or my wife. It is 8 o'clock. It's probably my son. He wakes up so early these days now that he's going to school. He used to sleep until 11. Alright, so I'm cutting a third of this rod off of this, I think it's 5 foot? It could be 4 foot, but I think these are the 5 foot rods here. It's a 16 millimeter. So a little bit bigger than ½ inch. I think it's about a 3/4 inch rod. Alright, we'll cut this off here. And I used to work these in 2 foot increments, but the weight of them really hurts my arm these days, so I cut them into thirds so it's less weight holding that whole entire piece of glass there, you know. Try keeping this up. Try just keeping your arm up in front of you, like with the straight arm, with your elbows straight up, parallel with your shoulder. Just lift it up and see how long you can do that for. And then put something in your hand, just a little bit of weight, and then see how long you can hold that for. And then we grab a pencil and see if you can spin a pencil in your finger without it bouncing like this. And keep it nice and straight, like that. See if you can do that with just a pencil. And for how long? I've been going for 80 minutes now. Yeah, your deltoids and your traps, they get a workout for sure. All right. So that one is a weird one. The one that I just made, I'm thinking is gonna have a wobble, which means I need to make 2 more to replace those if I'm gonna have 5 good ones. Every once in a while, these ones just don't come out right. It's hard to get them perfectly centered by hand. You know, a machine might be able to get them perfectly centered. I think a machine could make these. We were talking about AI robots and AI taking over jobs and stuff, and how never, ever, ever will the AI robot be able to make the custom glass balloons like I do. But I think a robot can make these. They could probably make them a lot quicker than I could and more precise. I would love to see that, actually. I could invent the whole machine that would create it, but I'm no engineer. But I could try to figure out how to design it and then sell that to someone who could make it. Alright, you just got to get this in the center. If I can get these in the center, they work. Oh, looks pretty good. Alright, we got a little bit more time here, guys. 7 more minutes till 8 o'clock, and then I'm going to start packing up, loading up here, guys. I don't know if my son is up. He might need some breakfast before I go. I might just end up doing something simple like a bowl of cereal for him. Yesterday he wanted me to make sausage and eggs and pancakes, and I got started making the sausage, and I was like, wait, I'm like still blowing glass here. I got to get my daughter to school. I'm like, just because you don't go to school on Friday, like I don't got all this extra time, man. So I was like, I could have just given him a bowl of cereal yesterday. I was like over there cooking this big old breakfast. Never got the pancakes though. That would have been nice. Or some French toast. So these are pretty much the same over and over and over. I've already replaced all of my spirals and all of my mushrooms, my $5 spirals, $5 mushrooms. So now I'm just working on these $5 spinning tops here, which these probably should be a little bit more. And then the other thing, I don't know if you're still around Pro Cannabis, but the other thing about these that's really awesome is I was asking you about dabs. These work perfect for carb caps. Being that you've never done dabs or concentrates, you probably never used an oil rig, probably don't know what a banger is and what a carb cap is for the banger. But basically what it is you heat up the banger, you get it extremely hot, and then you let it cool down to get it to a temperature just perfectly warm enough to not burn, but to vaporize the concentrate. Let's see if this one spins. Oh, that one spins better than that other one. What? Okay, so that one's the failed one. This one spins just great. Okay, cool. So let me show you. Okay. So this is a spinning top here, right? And this is an oil rig. And there's a banger on the front of it right there. And you put this right on top, and it covers it. And that helps to create more of a thick vape. You vaporize it basically. So, and then it helps it to not escape out of the banger, out of the top of the banger, so that way you can keep it all in. And then, you know, you may have to do several inhales before the whole banger clears out, depending. Yeah, dual use spinners. And then being $5, they are the most affordable carb caps in the world. I've been making these since 1998, when my firstborn was 3 years old. And I created a glass spinning top for my child to play with, which then became extremely popular, and I had to start making these over and over and over, and now I sell out all the time. And that's pretty much just locally that I sell out on my stuff. You know, I don't even have my website up yet, and I could barely even like keep up with the inventory. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So, you know, in recent years, people started doing the concentrates and the dabs, and then they started using bangers and carb caps. And the carb caps are usually at least $20. And yeah, mine are only clear, and they only got a little bit of colored dot on it or whatever. So they're not all fancy like other carb caps are, but they're functional and they're affordable, which is always what Gardenia glass has been. Quality, custom, affordable, functional glass. Oh my gosh, I totally just made another blue one. How many of those are blue and not red? I was supposed to be making red, and I think I've been picking up the blue the last like 3 or 4 tops. You guys did not even tell me? How dare you? Just let me make the wrong color here. Just kidding. I'm not going to put that on you guys. That's my fault. Not paying attention. I just get in this flow and start making them. Alright, well, we're going to have a lot of cobalt. I thought we were going to just make a few more red, but it looks like we're making all red still. Because they're all blue and there's one red, and the one red is the one that's... No. Is it that one? Which one was it that was all messed up? I think it was this one. Oh, spins good. Alright. I'm going to make a couple more red before we go. Even though it's going to get past 8 o'clock here. I think it is past 8 o'clock now. If I get there by 9, I don't think the event starts till 10. But I wanted to get there at 8:30. Just to make sure I have a good spot so I can talk to the individuals there and be like, hey, my wife sent the funds last night. It was a last minute thing. Sorry it was last minute, but we're here. And we got the confirmation that they received the funds, so they should have space for us. I just wish that I thought about, well, maybe I could blow glass there. If I was blowing glass, basically I take everyone, and I become like a performance, right? It's like if there's a band there, the band's going to get everyone to go watch them. When I blow glass, I become a performer at that time, and everyone comes around. My tent becomes surrounded, and it's hard for me to do demos and then also sell at the same time. So a lot of times I'll put the sales off and be like, all right, you guys, no sales for now. We're just going to do this demo real quick. Give me 5 minutes, and then you guys can ask any questions you would like. You can ask me what my favorite food is, what I'd like to drink. Just whatever. Nah, but you can ask me anything about the glass and stuff like that. I do that. Why am I doing this? Why am I holding it like that? Why am I spinning it like this? How hot does it get? Do you ever burn yourself? Do you ever hurt yourself? What is the carrying weight of an English swallow? Just kidding. Is that from Monty Python? And carrying a coconut. All right, the second red one. Geez, only got 3 more to go. I want to at least have 5 of these. If I leave by 8:30, I'll get there by 9. We'll be all right. Just wanted to get there a little bit earlier. I think my friends are probably going to be getting there early, so I wanted to go and set up right next to them. That's what I was hoping, actually. My friends from Santo Domingo are going to be there. From the market, we do the market every Sunday, so they're going to be there. So I was hoping to set up right next to them like we always do at the market, and we can hang out. It's sad that our market is done because, you know, that's family. We hang out every Sunday together for a year and a half, and then all of a sudden you just abruptly take that away from us, you know? That was our gathering. Like, even though we weren't making sales, we were still gathering together. Like, even though we didn't have a big draw of customers coming in, we were still building a community within ourselves. And that's the thing that's sad, is they just threw it away. They just let it go. C'est la vie. It was too much, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes people make it a lot more than what it really is, you know? Like, all we were doing was utilizing space and setting up. Maybe we were using their restrooms, but like I said, we're big kids, you know, we can figure that all out. If we needed to, I'm sure we could have all been like, well, we're going to need a porta potty here, at least around the corner in the back, right? In the alley by in the back building area, in that parking lot. You know, maybe we could rent one for every Sunday and just have it there for us. And then the business wouldn't even need to open. They wouldn't have to use their electricity. Although I'm thinking that they want to be there open when the market is there, because then they would trickle in people, right? But I don't know. I might be wrong. I don't know. What do I know about business marketing 101? It's not like I was trained in it or anything. I say that sarcastically because I was in a rigorous training learning all about that, how to make Odoo work, teaching people how to launch their businesses into cyberspace, because the brick and mortar era is coming to an end. And this was back in 2015, 2016. We're letting people know, hey, you got to launch your business into cyberspace. If you don't, you're going to be stuck here with the rest of the struggling businesses on Earth. On Earth. Like we ever leave Earth or anything. That one looks pretty straight too. It's got a slight crookedness, but not really. When you look at that straight on, that looks pretty good. You spin it. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, that's 1, 2, that's 3 of them. I gotta make 2 more, is that right? And we'll have at least 5 red. We got a bunch of blue and 5 red. I love the cobalt blue. Cobalt's one of my favorites. Oh, that is crooked. That's going to make it crooked. We're not going to do that. Got to always make sure that this punchy is perfect. That's the one thing, is making sure that the punchy is straight. Better. All right. And I love dabs. I love smoothness of the smell flavor, right? Yeah, dual use. I can only dream of it. Never it. But you smoke flower, right? You are allowed to smoke flower where you're at, or it's still illegal? Is it like a penalty if it's illegal? Like life, 20 years to life if you're caught with seeds and stems? That's what they give you. That's what they used to do in Arizona, in the U.S. here in Arizona, which is right next to us in New Mexico here. And Maricopa County, they used to be real strict there. And yeah, you get in trouble big time. Now they're all legal and medical there. Like, what? Now you can be medical, but there's all these people in jail still for cannabis crimes. Like, dang, non-violent offenders in there still. That's stupid. I'm a huge cannabis advocate. I have been since about 90. Well, in 94 was when I read a book, which was the Cannabis Cookbook. And in it was the foreword, or the preface of it, and it talked about the prohibition of cannabis and everything that happened, and how basically the Industrial Revolution came in and demonized this plant that was used for centuries, well, for thousands of years, for millennia, and since going back as far as the Chinese Chao Ying dynasty, Chao Ming, sorry, the Chao Ming dynasty, and how they created clothing from cannabis fibers, from after they made fishing nets that were similar to burlap. Well, they had fishing nets, and then they tightened the weave, which then became similar to burlap, and that became some of the first material ever created as a clothing or as just a different textile or fabric. We started from fishing nets and went there. And so I've been a huge advocate for a long time. I'm an educator, an activist. I've taught a lot of people on the importance of hemp hemp for health and things like that. Consuming hemp so you get the essential fatty acids, all the EFAs, which are the EFAs in the hemp seed and the hemp seed oil is the perfect combination for human consumption. You get the omega-3s, the omega-6s, and the omega-9s, and you get 30% protein per volume. So it's high protein and it has essential fatty acids. It has the cholesterols that we need hemp is a really good source. They say to stay away from seed oils, but I always ask, well, what about hemp seed and what about flaxseed oils? Hemp seed and flaxseed oils are extremely healthy for you. When they say, to stop using seed oils, well, be careful. What about the avocado seed oil? Avocado oil is good for you. So you got to be real careful on the things that they try to teach you. They give you half truths. They don't tell you everything 100%. So then you knock out all the good stuff too, right? They tell you how smoking cigarettes is bad. But they don't tell you about the benefits of nicotine itself, and that our bodies, everybody, right? Everybody has a nicotine receptor, which helps to regulate our health and helps to keep us from becoming sick. And the nicotine receptor also can utilize THC. So a lot of people who were smoking cigarettes and smoking cannabis during COVID, they were saying that they were less likely to be getting sick. And it's because they had the nicotine receptors always constantly filled. It's the same thing with your, I think the pituitary gland? And if you have the right amount of iodine in it, you do good iodine, then you don't get the bad radiation iodine if there's any sort of radiation fallout or anything like that. Hey, good morning, Boogie. Can I make you what? Pancakes? No, I cannot make you pancakes because I got a van today. I'm leaving right away. See, I knew he was going to come in and ask for those pancakes. I really wish I could make pancakes for him. I don't think I can bust out pancakes. I'd have to clean the whole copper pan and it takes a lot of prep work to just get the pancakes going. And then you got to make a whole bunch of them. It's not a quick task. And I got to get out. And I'm already like pushing over the limit that I want it to be. I was already going to be packing up and going about 15 minutes ago. How many of these red ones we got? 1, 2. Is this the third one or fourth? I don't know now. I might just stop here. Maybe one more. If I can get 4, the sacred 4, it's always good to work in numbers. But 3 is the magic number, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 3 is a magic number. You remember that song? Remember back in the day when it was Schoolhouse Rock? And then, I don't know if you guys ever remember the band Blind Melon, but they covered that song. 3 is the magic number. It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. That's what it is. Pancakes can be frozen. I make a batch and freeze the extra. Oh, that's interesting. You know, one thing that I heard about freezing bread is that it alters the gluten and it makes it more digestible. So actually making pancakes and freezing them could be beneficial for the health. And I put flaxseed in ours. Sometimes I'll put hemp seed in ours. A little cinnamon, a little vanilla. And then the pancakes that I make are gluten-free, dairy-free. But I'm not dairy-free. My wife is gluten-free, dairy-free. So we all eat gluten-free, dairy-free pancakes. But I put a bunch of butter on mine. And then I put my pancakes between 2 pieces of toast so I can have that gluten. Just kidding. Oh, that'd be funny. I need that gluten. Nice. I got a good spinner right there. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. If I make one more, that's 5 reds. All right, we're doing it. This is the last one, guys, and I'm going to let you guys go. And then I'm out of here. I got to pack up this computer, put it in the car, everything else that I need. I also need to figure out, am I going to wear any sort of costume today? Oh my gosh, I don't have anything. It would be cool if I had... Oh, maybe I don't know. I don't know how that would look or what that would do in the day. I was thinking, what if I set up a black light and put some kind of white cotton string there, it would glow, but it's in the day too, so I don't know how well. I don't know if I want to do all that. Try to make spider webs. All right, last spinning chops, guys. Do you have any more questions or anything good or bad to tell me? You can say it to my face. All right. Make sure that's all nice and flattened. Alright, make sure we grab the red, not the blue. Got enough blue. Plants are medicine, that's why God made them, right? Creator created so many good things, but everything can be medicine and everything can be poison. It's all about the amount and the intention that things are used. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. But I don't know, what, too much good health? Could that be a bad thing? I used to love Blind Melon. Shannon Moon, man, it's so amazing. My first band that I was in was called Soup, and it always reminded me of their album, Soup. But we were called Soup because we were like an eclectic mixture of different sounds and genres. We were like, you know, hip hop, funk, R&B, blues, reggae, jazz, salsa. We did it all. It was fun. And then Soup turned into Chronic Logic because, you know, we had the chronic logic, always logical thinking, right? Chronically logical, right? Like chronic means like that constant, like it's terminal logic, like chronic logic, like always constant till death. But then also the logic of chronic, using cannabis, chronic logic. And then a few years later, some computer company came out and stole our name. And now if you look up chronic logic, you'll find some kind of gaming system or something. Like, what the? All right, let me try to read this real quick. Appreciate you, Dan. Thanks for the company. I appreciate you too. You sit and you crochet dollies? That is dope. You know, I had this old lady. Well, she's older than me. I shouldn't call people old ladies, right? I had this friend of mine. She makes a lot of crochet, or she did make a lot of crochet stuff, and was selling them at different markets and things. And I had her make me a little water drop character known as the Lil Drop. Lil Drop's got his own page on Facebook. The Lil, L-I-L, the Lil Drop. And he's a crochet character that speaks about the importance of water and water protection, water conservation, drinking good, clean water for health. And it's something that I probably should have monetized and capitalized on a lot more than I did. And it's something I still could. We could, you know, we can make all kinds of things from the Little Drop, coloring books and different characters and stickers, and make plastic toys and all kinds of stuff, you know, and merchandise, t-shirts and hats and everything. But yeah, that was all a little crochet guy. Just a raindrop with two little black eyes kind of towards the bottom, so they were set low. And he was real cute. And she was wholesaling them to me for like, what was it, like either $2 or $4. I don't remember. Maybe $4. If they were only $2, like that's ridiculous. But yeah, she was making them for me, and then I was selling them, I think, for $5 or $6. I was only making a little bit off of them. So maybe I was getting them for $3 and maybe selling them for $5 or $6. All right, well, that's the last one, guys. These are really cool spinning tops. They got the dot on the bottom. It spins really well on there. They're only $5. Shipping is probably like $7 to $9 these days. So if you do want one, just know that you should probably get several of them, because the shipping cost will probably be the same for several as it is for one. But I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to do a quick dab myself. I'm not going to do it on camera because then I'll get in trouble, or we'll have to turn it into an 18 plus video. But thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you, Joni, for coming in. And we'll have to have some more gateway discussions. We'd love to talk to all of you guys in that gate group and join you in the Zooms very soon. Also, Pro Cannabis, I appreciate you coming in, being the first one. And you've always been here quite often, so I appreciate you so much. Everyone else who's also here, thank you for tuning in and watching. I know that we got a few other viewers here who didn't really make it into the comment section, but thank you so much. Hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Check out my playlist and go and be entertained for a while. All right, love and blessings. You guys have a beautiful day. I gotta go bend. I'm out.